So I was like trying to put it on, and it was like a whole thing. I don't know if
Wait,
I
what?
accidentally ordered a small or what.
You ordered a small. That's why I was like confused. Honestly, when I looked at it, I was like, a small? I was like, maybe you got it for his kid. I don't know.
Oh man. Well, it don't.
Rip?
Yeah, rip. Do you have any more?
What size do you need?
Hold on, let me close my. OBS is already running. Is OBS already running? Guys, hold on. We're
Maybe that fit your kid.
we're closing the scans wherever the fuck it's at.
Oh, are we streaming? Are we live?
Yeah, we are right now.
Oh shit. Okay.
I like just went live. We're gonna let some people hop in. There he is. Hey, what's good? Bob, if you dip out at any point in time, my feelings won't be hurt. But I
I
love
will have to eventually. What size do you need?
you. A medium.
Are you sure?
I'm positive.
A medium is pretty small. I don't know.
Is it?
I mean, I don't know. Let me look at you. Hold on.
Can you see me? Can you see me?
I can see you.
I'm definitely
What size is
a
the shirt
medium.
you're wearing right now?
It's a medium. We live. What's up, everybody? Oh, look at this
All right,
bidder on
medium it is.
Cnet. We'll let some people come in. Let me put out a thing on real ones real quick. I feel it's like I'm all over the place right now. Apologies. Let me scroll through all 500 people that are in chat. And we'll copy and we'll paste this. Boom, boom. A medium so you can show his sexy muscles. Dude, you should have seen me in the small, man. Like, I thought about wearing it
Can we see it? Let's
just to
see it.
wear it. Oh, man. Come on. You want me to put it on for real?
You had to put it on. Just put it on your desk or show it to us.
Dude, I think it's in the other room. Let me go get it. Let me go get the, let me go, let me go get the small. Dude, I have so many fucking windows.
Will it fit your kid?
Boom. Okay, be right
Probably
back.
not, right?
Probably not. I think it's a little too big.
To adult.
A little too big. 1 second, guys. Okay, I'm back. Will this be recorded? Yes, it will be recorded. I don't know if that guy's actually in here or not, but it will be recorded. Okay, so, dude, okay, so I put this thing on, right? And I looked like Bull Shark. I just looked all buff and shit. I was like, damn, I'll be big up in here. Thiz, my guy, what's the deal? What's good? How's everybody doing, man? I hope everybody was green. I'm gonna hop on this bid with people here. 55-2. You know what? We'll slap a little bit. We'll slap a bit. Taking some CNET. Taking some CNET. Didn't take the EQOS I did, ended up going. I like CNET too, so we'll go ahead and take CNET. Yeah, guys, so today we're going to go over some trades we took today. We're going to go over some trades we had yesterday. As you can see, my setup looks a little different than last time you guys probably watched. I have been on Thinkorswim again, kind of dicking around with it. It's been really laggy for me, so I'm kind of like on this screen, right? I have my trade zero, my center point, so I'm still taking a lot of trades on that, but I am on Thinkorswim again, dicking around. Yo, what's up, Steven? Kind of big red today. Man, I hate to hear it. Morale is insanely low. Dude, you just gotta sack up, you know, and just keep going. It's tough. Trust me, I know I've taken some big ass losses before, and probably over some dumber situations than you would imagine. I pictured this as like a Julian Willing anime character. I mean, come on. What's up, bro? How's everybody doing, man? Hi, 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 hi. Pretty good day, man. Pretty good day. We traded Voyager today, pre-market. Pretty decent. We played the Momo on this actually. I pretty much bottom ticked it here, off of a 5 minute. Pretty sure it was a 5 minute flag, right? 5 minute flag. Yep. We bottom ticked here. I didn't ride this thing all the way up. We ended up scaling out right here. Um, but yeah, I think Mike. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I slept in a little bit today. I got on a little late today. It felt pretty good though. I felt nice and refreshed. This doesn't look like my mental picture. What the fuck? You're not in a hot tub? Hey, whoa, whoa, chill. What's up, everybody? Dude, if I actually got a hot tub and like sat here and did my streams in it, would you guys even watch that? Would that be funny? Any good overnights off Bitcoin
I'm gonna go get
strength?
the hot tub. I'll be right back.
Yeah, I took some CNET. Um, I was talking about earlier, there's a bidder now. I don't know if he'll stick or not, but this thing is literally sitting at like 52-week lows, just like EQOS was. Last Bitcoin craze, you know, we saw almost $5 here, then we saw like $6 here. You can see my trend lines are still there on the daily, but you know, it's way down here. We saw a similar look on EQOS, which is now starting to bounce. I called EQS this morning in this area, and it's up almost $1. So I'm gonna go ahead and take some CNET. We got some lottos out, nothing crazy. I'm gonna look to grab some more, but I want to make sure that this thing is gonna like this. I want to see this bidder stay with me. So we are gonna take some CNET. I like the MFH idea, but you know, it's not my favorite idea. Um, but I like it. I think it's more of an NFT name than anything. There's some other names, FTFT, decent name. I do, like I said, I do think Bitcoin continues to get some push. We're seeing some big names take swings and other names too. You know, Zach got on any, which is doing quite well. We Taz our BTBTs, you know. But that's for me. I'm taking the CNET. I may join EQOS too if we get the right dip, right? But yeah, guys. So I kind of wanted to talk today and go over some plays that we had yesterday, go over some plays we had today. Um, and then I'm gonna go ahead and answer questions for a majority of today. I know that um, you know, I told you guys we'd have subject matter, and we definitely will. It's been a kind of a crazy last 2 weeks for me. I'm actually going back to the hospital tomorrow, but I'm here to answer all the questions today. So for all of you that just want to go over the plays, we'll do that first, and then if you guys want to dip out, you don't want to stay for the questions, I totally get it. And Dasbury, I don't know if you're in here watching right now, but if you have any questions, being that you just left your job to trade, I'd like to answer all those questions here on stream as
I think
well.
we should bring him into the voice so you can hear him audio.
Dasbury, you want to come in voice, bro? Come in voice, Dasbury. Come, join the music channel so I can drag you down. We're gonna get Dasbury in voice, guys. Yes, it's not an option. You gotta join voice. So we'll get Daz in here, and then we'll answer some of his questions too. I feel like a lot of the questions that Daz is gonna ask, you guys will be able to kind of, you know, resonate with and stuff like that. Marps, very good play yesterday. We caught the buyer in the tape the day before up in here. You know, we were seeing some loads here. We got 80,000 volume coming in here. We had another 36 here, and I was even looking back a little farther, and we were seeing some small loads here. Definitely a buyer was in the tape. We went over in a voice, said there was a buyer in the tape, and then not even 10 minutes later, we saw socials hop in on it. Very surprised by the move. There's been a lot of these plays where the bid just didn't get supported like this one did, but what an amazing move from fives all the way to 868. Um, I thought I had caught another one yesterday. I was actually going to join the dip on it, and I didn't. But that's fine. You know, there's another one that might be brewing. We actually played this long in the pre-market on these dips at VWAP, so we kind of had this dip under VWAP and then this nice confirm higher low here, and we just scalped it. The major play on this was joining short here on the bear flag off the 8, right? We had a really big fail, a million volume damn near come through. We joined here off the 8, nice bear flag here, right? And if you look at it, very low volume. Very low volume, right? There's really no pushback. And on something like this where It's just a lot of retail crowded on a play like that, man. As soon as people start pulling out of the play, it's kind of like a big domino effect, you know. And so this is just me being real. This is how I play the backside. I'm not dogging the play. Obviously, an amazing play coming from 5 to 8s. I scalped it long, but I did take advantage of the short side of this. Now, the locates on this were really expensive, so I didn't get to size in like I wanted, but we did get to play this. I pretty much rode this down to about 620s, I want to say. Most of my size came out before that, like 650s, 660s, and I'm pretty sure I scaled the rest 620s. Thiz, did you get raped in prison? Okay, my guy. That's yo. I need to get some mods, huh? Deb, are you in here? How do we ban people? Thank you. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Never been to prison, guys. So that was our play on Marps, right? We have another one of these brewing overnight. We'll probably talk about it in a voice tomorrow if it does set up. I typically, there are a lot of plays that I do on my own just because on something like this, it's really easy for you to be short and then a tweet comes out and you just get swiped out. So Marps, that's what we played yesterday. I want to say there were some other plays. I think Useg, we talked about getting short off the weakness in pre-market, but I didn't actually play Useg. But it would have been a nice play. I'm going to be honest, I don't really actually even remember what all we played yesterday. We just talked about this too. Daz, do you remember what we went over yesterday? I know I know for sure Marps was like one of my main plays yesterday, so that one was pretty easy to go over. Whoop that trick. Yeah, I got one mod, guys. It's only Deb. Deb's the only mod I have. I linked the list. Where? And also, did you join music channel so I can drag you in? No, you didn't. Hell nah. Yeah, actually, that was funny. I actually watched all these streams back, and I was like, man, I don't get no haters. And there was some guy who said my beard looked like pubes. Oh, here we go. Here's Daz. What's up, baby?
Yo,
There he is.
ATXY. Oh, ADTX.
back in the gamer channel, I didn't realize you wanted music.
Right. Yeah, ADTX. I don't believe I played ADTX, but it was a good call by Mikey. Something like this kind of really held up nice in pre-market here. It showed strength out of the gates and kind of dipped down and gave you this nice higher low over VWAP. You see a lot of these, and I'm pretty sure people got long on this for the scalp. Nothing crazy. It ended up turning into a really good short play though. But honestly, that as far as the gappers list that you're showing, Daz, like that's all I can really remember like caring about playing was Marps, ADTX. I want to say GTE. Yeah, GTE, right? Yeah, GTE was the other play that padded the account yesterday. Very simple play on GTE, guys. You got a stock that's been running up for multiple days. If you look at the daily, it had been coming up for quite a few days now, right? Pulled back, tapped the 8, continues to run. Coming up on $1. $1 naturally is going to be a huge resistance, just a nice mental resistance, like psych point. And so I got short. I want to say right in here, not between 99 and $1 with like 100,000 shares. I ended up getting a lot of the shares out pretty quickly in this area here. But I was able to ride this down to my target was 90 cents. Was able to ride this down to 90s and then even held some in here. We got into another play in this area, so I didn't get to get these covers here. I actually covered in here. Tried to short again here and ended up just started getting chopped, so I left it alone, right? But this is a really good play, man. I mean, you're talking, 10 cents and some on the penny play. It's pretty damn good. You know what I mean? Pretty damn good. Moving into today, like I said, we had VYGR, nice scalps out of the open. I actually sized into this pretty heavy on the 5-minute flag this morning, so this was in the Trade Zero account. This was the majority of the gains here. Was just getting in here off the bottom tick and then selling into the strength on the way up. And I think I scalped this again somewhere in here, and that was pretty much VYGR. I left alone for a majority of the day just because I could see today we had a lot of things that were just kind of moving sideways, and nothing really wanted to choose a direction. You know what I mean? BTBT and any obviously highlights of the day. Um, you know, nice push up. We got short on any, which we'll go over here in a second. But yeah, VYGR. I actually thought this was probably going to squeeze power hour or into the after hours, which we really just didn't get. You know, um, we had a nice move and it just got dumped on. I tried it here for a 1 minute flag, and luckily I dodged the bullet here. I got out before the big fails. I got out like right here on this candle. Other than that, spent the majority of the day scalping any. I have to actually scroll down on this. Buy Adobe dip. Wasn't for scalp on it. Started at the top, quick hard, so I bailed. Yep. When you day trade, are you sticking mainly to 1 minute chart for entries? I look at a lot. Man, I don't tunnel trade. You know, you can see I have my 5 minute here. I have my 1 minute, and then I have my daily up here on this top monitor, right? Daily is probably your most important chart in a lot of cases. Whereas like even you heard when I said I was shorting any, I was like, yeah, I'm shorting any because I believe it needs to reset, visit VWAP, but the setup for the daily is definitely there. I think, you know, if we get some Bitcoin theme continuation, which Bitcoin is actually pushing a little bit right now, you know, this could easily see 8s, 9s if it can break through some of these levels. But we got short. We got short here. Actually, so any had this kind of pattern going on right here, right? Connecting our wicks, connecting our pivots kind of deal going on. And we got short in here, in this area right here, right? 690s, we added, I want to say 705s. And before we even had this move, I was telling people, I was like, look, you know, Bitcoin's just moving sideways, but I really feel like people are getting tired of it. I feel like they really want to see a move, and they're not. You know, so everybody in any and BTBT probably going to, like, lose patience and just, like, end up cutting positions and stuff like that. I said this will probably break this trend line, fake out, and then pull. And that is exactly what happened. So we were able to catch any short in this area. I scaled some here, got back in the short on the pop here, which was kind of like a 5 minute 8 tap, not exactly, but got in here looking for the breakdown of the trend line. Exactly what we got. My target was VWAP, so I scaled everything VWAP. Zen and Fappy actually got this all the way down to like 660s, which was an amazing play. There was a lot of sitting on hands today's guy. Like, you know, there was definitely opportunity. A lot of the things were pretty much degen scalps. You know, we played BTBT, scalp BTBT. You can see some nice 1 minute pullbacks here on the 8s here, a little flag here. I know that I want to say Mikey played these. But other than that, you know, end of day, I had a nice short on Fami. Honestly, I just kind of saw this on scans and just I pulled it up, seen it had been running like all day. Looked at the daily and it, you know, it had been pulling back a while, so I figured this was kind of just like its bounce. I don't know if something's going on with Fami. Maybe there's something I don't know about. But all I needed to see was this candle here, and on pretty significant volume, right? 4 million, nice shove. We had this candle here hanging a bit. We weren't having really much pushback, so I added some shares short here. Told everybody in chat about it, and not even like 2 seconds later, we just had this nice flush from 40 to 38s. Continued down to 37.50. Came back up. We added more into the short here, and then I ended up covering everything down here. I know there are some people overnighting this. I'm not personally. Like I said, the only overnight I'm taking tonight is on CNET, which hasn't moved too much. We're away from this this bidder now. But decent day. I'm up. I think I'm up like a little over 1,300 and on the accounts. Nothing too crazy. Oh no, 1,500. I'm up 1,500. I'll take it. I'll take. I'm trying to get some damn Chick-fil-A, guys. I fucking made that rule where it's like if I don't get 10K for the week, no Chick-fil-A. So we're like halfway there. I'm trying to get some damn fucking Chick-fil-A. They, because they ain't you. What did Bob say? How do you get the head clear for good stock selection and plan the trade bias at the open in cloud? You go to your step-by-step process for one trade you did today. How do you get the head clear for good stock selection? I mean, a lot of it just comes from doing this for a while now, man. You know, there's either two things that are gonna happen on any given stock that's moving in the day. It's either gonna go up or it's gonna fucking go down. You know what I mean? And to be honest, you don't really even have to be right about the bigger picture, especially on days like today where things kind of just chopped a lot. As long as you get some decent entries on either side, you can really just kind of degen scalp shit all day and make a decent buck. I said, could you go by your step-by-step process for one trade you did today? Man, I'm gonna be honest. There wasn't just a whole lot of great examples for. I mean, a lot of it really was like point and shoot. You know what I mean? Like a lot of the plays today were just like look, like okay, I see the entry and shoot. But I do make plans in the morning. Actually, I think I've went over this in some past streams where it's like I'll make a list the day before. We'll check that list in the morning. If there's anything that needs to get added to the list, I will, and I'll have like 2 plans for each name, for whatever it'll do. But I try and stick to 2 main names, right? I try to stick to 2 main names. I took that advice from Nathan McCod, and because I used to be all over the place, you know what I mean? But I mean, sticking to 2 main names has definitely helped. Today it was Voyager, today it was Any, today it was BTBT. So there was 3. I ended up leaving Voyager alone because I didn't like how it was trading. But just sticking to this. For Any, for me, like I said, it was there's a lot that goes into it. Every trade is different. I knew Any was a Bitcoin name, and I'm looking at Bitcoin. I have Bitcoin up, and Bitcoin today was really just kind of chopping around. It did hold a nice level of 54.5. Never broke below that level, but it really wasn't doing much. Like, it really wasn't pushing. So like I said earlier, I'm looking. We have a nice pattern here, but we're up pretty good for the day. And I'm also looking back a couple of days, and if you look on the 5 minute, Any likes to give back, right? And then zombie back up, right? So yesterday we had this huge dip on Any. I believe I shorted Any yesterday, actually. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I did short Any off this flag right here. We went over this last night. I've been kind of doing like a private class with some people, but we had this nice bear flag here, confluence with the VWAP, with the 8 EMA, and we shorted that here. And then what happened? It literally just came all the way back, right? So we saw it in the morning here. We're up pretty good, and then there's kind of really no reason for this to go too much. I know there's probably a lot of retail on it. Like I said, people are probably getting impatient. So it was really just point and shoot. It was really point and shoot. This is coming up. As like I said, it'll probably break above what I wanted. So my plan, right? I wanted to see it break above. I wanted to see it fail, and that was the ad for me. Point and shoot. A lot of point and shoot trades today, just scalps. LGHL auction. I don't think I traded auction. All right, guys. I'm gonna be honest. I haven't really been reading chat. Like, how do you decide on cutting? Like, do you use an actual stop loss or a mental? I always use a mental stop. I never use a hard stop. Guys. It's always mental. And if so, how do you decide where it would be based on your entry? I feel like I always cut too soon. I told people in the past, I think it's really important to use real levels, right? So let's use Any as an example, right? Let's say I'm short 703s. I had a good feeling that this was going to break above and then come back. If it didn't break above, my stop would have been this top pivot here. I'm in this area right here. But since it did fail, immediately my stop becomes the top of this fail, right? And so if we go to Any yesterday, for example, I'm getting short on this flag. There's a lot of trades for me that it's like, and this is a majority of my trades actually, where it either fucking works or it doesn't work. And if the idea doesn't follow through exactly how I think it's going to at the time, I cut the fucking trade. I don't just sit there and like, well, maybe now it'll do this. No, I cut the trade, and then if I'd have to build another plan around the next trade, um, I'll just get back in with a new risk. I'm not gonna, if this started breaking up, I'm not gonna be like, well, now I'll risk here, because there are a lot of people do that, right? They move their stop. They're like, oh, now I risk here, or now I'll risk up here. Not me, man. If I'm getting in on a bear flag, I want to see that bear flag follow through. And if it doesn't, and it's breaking back over VWAP, which is a key level, if it's breaking back over the 8, which is a key level, I just cut the trade, right? But for me, I don't just add in very random spots. There's always a level that I'm using as some kind of risk, whether it's VWAP, whether it's, maybe I'm just scalping a flag. And those points that I'm getting in on underneath, those are my risk. You know what I mean? Let me close this. Guys, is the stream still up, or did we lag? How do you stop yourself from being biased to the short long side? I was scalping SPY puts early in the morning and completely missed the long plays. Any tips? How do you stop from being biased to the short long side? I'll be honest, man. I'm still kind of bad about becoming too short bias on a play or becoming too long bias on a play. A lot of times though, for me, a lot of times when I'm shorting, I'm looking for a bigger picture short. I'm not looking to just scalp a short, unless I can short it on TOS, because I don't have to locate the shares. Um, and I think that helps me because it's like I have specific strategies that I stick to when I'm shorting, and then I have specific strategies I'm sticking to when I'm long something, right? And so that kind of keeps me balanced out because if I see one or the other and it makes sense, I will just take advantage of that situation. You know what I mean? And I think it does also help because, like I said, a lot of my shorts aren't scalps. I'm looking for a bigger picture short. Um, for this, I wanted to see VWAP. I mean that's a decent move. I didn't think we would get all this. I guess this technically is kind of a scalp if you really think about it. But on something like, MARPS or even any yesterday or even GTE, like this was a bigger picture trade for me, right? I knew that people started loading in this area, so I figured we could probably get back to that area, right? On GTE yesterday, I knew we had been running for a couple days on the daily, right? The 8 EMA is way down here at 80 cents. I wasn't targeting 80 cents, but I knew a big psych level was going to be 90, and I knew that this thing probably needed to reset. We had orb here at 90 cents, and so I went ahead and just targeted the 90 cents, right? So, yeah, I mean, for me, it's like I know what my strategies are on both sides, and I stick to that, and I feel like that helps me kind of do what you're talking about, not get too biased. Is there a reason you don't use a hard stop? I don't like getting to be honest, it's just something that I don't know. From the very beginning, like in the very very beginning, I'd have a hard stop in place, and I'd always catch like slippage or something like that. But over the years, there's different situations, different ways you get flushed out, where in a way a hard stop might be a disservice to you. Now, don't get me wrong. If I have to take like a piss or something, guys, and I'm using a hard stop, right? But for me, even on Voyager, right? If something like this was to happen to me, which most of the time it doesn't, because I just dodged the bullet. But if something like this was to happen to me, I don't want to get slippage and then get stopped out way down here. I can always just look for the bounce and then get out for a little smaller loss on the bounce. You know what I'm saying? So it's just a practice. I don't use hard stops. You'll hear a lot of people talk about market makers hunting your shares and stuff like that. So don't use hard stops. Is there a reason? That's what we just read. I trade mostly small caps, only some large caps. The switch is very nice. Is there a specific reason you don't use hard? We went over that. I'm gonna scroll down a bit. Might miss some questions. There's a lot of people in here. Yes, most people place their stops. Yep. Can you go over both your long and short strategy? We did that in another stream, so you're gonna have to go watch that video, man. Yeah, the game is. What if it doesn't bounce? Um, okay, so there's this thing in price action, right? Where if something kind of flushes like this, right? If it kind of comes up a little bit, I mean, shit. Sometimes even this is enough for me. Getting caught in something like this is not fun. But a majority of the times, I'll reflex cut a lot of it, during the actual knife here, and then on the rest of the shares, I'll just look for some kind of out on it with for a smaller loss. If this comes up a little bit and just like hesitates, I'll cut the shares. I don't want to see any kind of like weird hesitation where it looks like there's no buyers, where it looks like it's not going to come back up. But also for something like VYGR, we've seen this so many other times now, and it did bounce to where it's like I have a little more, I'm a little more comfortable thinking that it might bounce. Whereas on something like if this was the first time we've seen this on the stock all day, yeah, I'm just going to take my L. You know what I mean? I'm not going to wait for the bounce. But kind of the nature of this, it's bounced plenty of other times. Like I said, I dodged a bullet here, so I actually didn't get caught in that. But how do you decide on the tickets you'll be trading during the day? I feel like we've answered similar questions. I always end up with too big of a list and end up missing opportunities due to watching too many tickers. I look for volume. I look for a catalyst. I look for range. Those are like my three. I stick to them like butter, man. I don't veer too far from them. That is like the holy grail for a momentum trader, which is pretty much what I am. I don't swing too often. The only time I do take swings are usually quick overnights, right? Like CNET, EQOS, we swung any last night. These are in theme. What's the theme right now? It's Bitcoin names. You know what I mean? Um, and they're just short-term swings. Like it's either an overnight or nothing. We took an XTD yesterday, but I cut I cut right before open, right before this candle I cut. So. But yeah, so I don't swing much. I'm a momentum trader. I need volume. I need a catalyst. And guys, a pump to me is a catalyst, right? Maybe not for the long side per se, unless you get the right kind of dip. But it's definitely a catalyst for me to be looking for some kind of short play. Get me? How do you find range? So I gave this example to Dasbury yesterday. What I mean by range, right, is there's two. I'm looking at the daily, but I'm also looking mostly at the intraday chart, right? Especially if I'm scalping something long. But I kind of just look at these candles, and it's like real quick, right? It's real subconscious. But I'm looking at these candles, I'm like, okay, I know that this is moving. You know, I feel like on average it's like 40 cent per candle. Like per healthy candle, we're getting about 40 cents, maybe more, right? So I know that I have like a 40 to 60 cent range on the stock. What does that mean? Well, that means I can fucking make money on it, right? I'm not joining a stock that is moving like 2 cents at a time. Like something like that, it's just a little harder to make money on. You know what I mean? There's especially since this is so thin, and you know it's a lot easier to move and stuff. But then you look at the daily, and it's like this thing likes to pop, right? And every time it pops, we got like a solid $5 move. You know, so that's kind of what I mean by range, but I'm more talking about on an intraday level, you know. You'll see a lot of news and the stocks will just be like kind of moving a couple cents. I don't want a stock that's just moving a couple cents. I want something that has the potential to go. What does that correlate directly with a lot of times? It usually correlates with the float, you know what I mean? So that's what I mean on that level. You know what I mean? If it doesn't have 3 of 3, sometimes you can still get away with the trade. Um, the one that I feel like you always need though is the volume, you know. So if you have volume and a catalyst, right, but the range is definitely is not like really there, you could probably make some money on it. It's just not going to be the best, right? If you have volume and the range, but it doesn't have a catalyst, well, you can still make money on it. You know what I mean? But if you have like a catalyst, well, here's the thing: if you don't have volume, you're probably not going to have much range on the intraday level, right? This just doesn't work out that way. But if you have like no volume so basically you don't have volume, you can't have too much range. You just end up with a fucking catalyst. So then you're basically like assuming there's going to be a move, and that's just not what I like to do a lot of times. How do you decide to enter a trade, whether long or short? Do you use level 2? Do you look for large buyers? So on a lot of longs, man, like I said, I'm a big scalper long. You know, I like to scalp these little flags. You know, high or low here. Um, what was it, Voyager this morning? Like I said, I got in on this pullback, right? But on the short side, I like the bigger pictures. I like the retail crowded names. I like the names that people forget about. GTE was another one I played today, right? We shorted it yesterday, um, and it had that zombie move that not Fami, that Any had as well, right? And it was funny. Bob reached out to me. Bob was like, "Yo, this shit's gonna crack $1," and I was like, "Damn, it really might." And I was gonna overnight some, but nonetheless, I mean, it broke through one and you know blew out the top at like 3 in the morning. There's no way I was gonna be awake at that time. Um, and I'm gonna be honest, kind of forgot where I was going with this, but you know, yeah, I shorted GTE this morning. We got short right at open here and copped the little thing here. I tried to get short again, thinking we could probably get the 80s, but failed follow through on that. Do you use level 2 user? So basically, man, if I'm getting long, right? I'm not chasing it. I want some kind of support. I want some kind of dip, right? And a lot of times that I'm getting short, this was kind of a chase if you look at the bigger picture. But a lot of times when I'm getting short, same thing. I'm looking for some kind of bounce to get in on, right? Um, I feel like with the shorts you can get away with a little more, right? Supply always wins, kind of thing, like Nathan likes to talk about. But um, you know, it's kind of like what I said earlier. Either the trade works immediately or it doesn't. But I'm risking a certain level, right? Like I'm risking this bear flag. If it breaks up, I stop. You see me take a lot of different kind of trades. A trade I call the catcher's mitt, which we saw many times on CEI and the course of its life that it had um, the last few weeks, where you know I'm using these pivots, I'm using these levels to get long off of on what would be technically the backside of the move, and then just scalping the bounce. Right, we had a nice bounce here. You can't really tell in a 30-minute, but we had a little bounce here, and you know here as well. Right, we played this, we had a bounce here, and we even played this one off this pivot here, and got a really nice bounce there. So for me, it just kind of depends on what's going on. But for shorts, I like to see names that get forgot about. That's what I was getting at with GTE. Just got forgot about, you know what I mean? Blew off the top, got forgot about. And now it looks like it may actually crack down to 80s. And for the long side, I like to have a name that, um, if I'm looking at a catcher's mitt play, it needs to be a play that people are still going to be looking to buy. People are still going to be looking to. It's a popular name, right? There's going to be shorts to cover to bring us that bounce, you know. Um, if it's short, I like the retail heavy plays because there's, once the big boys get out and there's nobody to prop bids, people panic. They just sell the fucking stock off. Daily chart patterns repeat. Yes, they do. If you see a pattern you like but miss the initial push, is there any reason you would chase the pattern or leave it? Alright, I'm going to use, even though any didn't do what I would like it to do for this example, I'm going to use any for an example, right? So, let's say you see any, and any has just this, oh man, look at this fucking wedge. Hypothetically speaking, let's say that Bitcoin is just fucking pushing for 60, right, or something like that, and you're like, damn, this thing's gonna break. Ideally, right, now that you have this trend line after these 2 points, you're gonna be looking for a higher low, right? Well, let's say you had a higher low here, you missed it because you weren't paying attention, and then you have a higher low here, then you miss it because you have to go take a dump or something, right? And at this point, it's already about to break out, right? Would I chase the breakout? Absolutely, 100% of the time, fuck no. All right. And the reason why is because if this is going to be a healthy breakout to continue this trend, you will have a dip. I fucking promise you, you will have some kind of dip. And if you don't, still would not chase it, right? But a majority of the time, you will have some kind of dip. Whether that starts pushing up here and retests, the highs and then keeps ripping, I would get in here. You know what I mean? Or whether it breaks out of the pattern, right? Gives you a little break, a little baby break, and it pulls back to the top trend line and then rips. That would be my entry. I will always wait for the dip. I will never chase the name. The closest thing I get to chasing is on the short side, and that's when I see a big fucking fail, and then I just risk the top of the fail, right? But I don't chase, bro. I don't like buying breakouts. I buy dips. I buy on support, whether that's some kind of EMA or a nice dip with low volume. You know what I mean? You got the volume divergence. Whether you're buying on VWAP for the first VWAP scalp, whether you're buying off a pivot from yesterday that hasn't been visited yet, whether it's a higher low on VWAP, whatever it is, I buy on support. I buy on a fucking dip. The only time that I will buy on the breakout, right? So we're going to use this as another example. Same scenario. Let's say Bitcoin's pushing 60K. You have things are just looking super bullish. You're like, oh my God, I got this wedge. We're going to get rich, right? Let's say you weren't taking a dump, okay? Let's say you weren't taking a dump. Let's say you caught this higher low, right? So you got a decent average, man. You're sitting like, what, 690s or something? You're like, damn, I got 690s. So your risk is the bottom of this trend line. You know what I mean? Pretty good risk, but you're moving away from it, and you're getting to this point where you can tell the stock's gonna break out. That is the only time I will buy the breakout, is if I had that dip. Why am I allowed to buy this breakout now? Because I bought the dip. Why am I allowed to do that? Well, because if I buy this breakout with the same size that I bought this dip in, where's my average? My average is still right fucking here, right? My average will still be on green. And that's why it's so important to buy dips. You get so much more leverage over your position. You have so many more opportunities, right? Why is this so significant though, right? Because if this did exactly what it did do in the, reality, now you're not stopping out for a loss, right? You're not adding to down pressure like well, okay, I guess you would be. Let's not say that. But you can still stop out small green or even break even, right? But you add it to the position to get that bigger gain, etc. Or you just have more room. Like, because sometimes you'll see things that pull back under the pattern, and then they'll rip. You know what I mean? But in a situation like this, you're not just instantly red. If you just bought the breakout and it kind of pulls down, you're gonna get faked out. You're gonna sell. You're adding to selling pressure. You're basically, everybody talks shit about shorts. So if we're speaking of like shorts, you're fucking helping the shorts if you're buying breakouts, because when they fake you out, you're just fucking selling and you're helping them out, right? Whereas when you're buying dips and see, I really feel like we should groom a lot of new traders more on the dips, because it's like, especially if you're like, oh, longs, you know what I mean? Because if we have people buying dips, we have people supporting the bid. what happens when people support the bid? The price continues to go up, shorts get squeezed. When shorts get squeezed, they do the inverse of what we just talked about. They cover, which adds to buying pressure, right? And that's another big reason why I won't buy a breakout, is because when you do get those dips, there's a lot of psychology behind it. There's a lot of strategy behind it, right? So it's like, if we break out here, okay, what did I say at the very beginning of this conversation, guys? I said if I was short, my stop was here, right? I said my stop was here. I was short. My stop was here, right? So if we blow past this, what did I also say earlier? I will most of the time wait for a pullback, right? Or a bounce to get out for a smaller loss. I'm not the only motherfucker that does that, alright? I am not the only motherfucker that does that. So if I'm short and I'm just like, oh shit, we just blew the fucking top right past my stop. Well, when that dip comes, I'm going to be looking to stop out a lot closer to where I was at. You see what I'm saying? And it's like, boom, I was able to stop out where my risk was. Well, when you have all these people stopping out short, they are buying stock. And then not only that, but you have people like with me with the same mentality who are buying that dip off this pivot, and it sends the stock higher. I hope you guys are understanding what I'm putting down. This is fucking sauce right now. Alright? You guys are getting the fucking sauce, okay? And there's a lot of different situations where this plays out. This is like the typical wedge pattern. You see a lot of these, right? There's a lot of other ways where this whole mentality, this whole strategy applies. Okay? So I hope you guys are understanding what I'm putting down. This is good shit right here. If you have time, I'd love to hear your analysis on AFRM today. I'm sorry, man. I love you to death. We're not going to do that right now. I'm not a huge large cap trader. I'll be 100% honest with you. I don't even know what the fuck's going on with AFRM. I tried to trade it, and I think I made like 20 bucks on it. I was like, I'll try to leave it alone because it didn't do what I wanted it to do. Like when I looked at AFRM, right? I was looking at it in here, right here, which we can ignore this. And I wanted to see it break below, so I got short here, and it did. And as soon as it came back up, I stopped out. I was like, that's not what I want. It's not what I want to see. I just got out. And I haven't really looked at it much more the rest of the day. But that level did hold up for some nice dips later on. So if anybody played that, it's good dips. But I hope you guys are seeing what I'm putting down with this any example. This is a great example, right? For those small scalp bounces, do you use daily support of like a 4 hour or 1 hour? I'll be honest. A lot of the times, I like to look at levels that are pretty recent. You know what I mean? Most of the time, I use it daily. It's gonna be looking at like okay, so let's use any for example again. I'll be looking at these pivots, right? These pivots that are above. They're close by. I know it's realistic that we could reach these levels, so I have those levels in mind, right? But if we go back to the CEI example, it was like, dude, I just went to the 30-minute and zoomed out and was like, okay, what's recent? What has recent significance? What has recent price action? And you'll see that those get respected a little more in the short term. But if you are looking for, I don't know, let's say something's going parabolic, that's when I like really use the levels of my daily. But I like to know where my daily levels are regardless. So yes, I do use the daily, and then I use the 4 hour, 1 hour, whatever. I like the 4 hour. You get more range, but so that way you can see pre-market and post-market levels, right? Basically, if you see a break of resistance then test support, that's a good entry, right? Everything is situational. I can't tell you yes or no. I'm not a financial advisor. If the pullback is a low volume pullback to the pivot that was high day, it's if depending on obviously the situation, but a lot of times yes, that would be a decent entry. But where would your stop be? If you're getting in long here, right? Like let's say it breaks out, just like we drew. Do we still have my snip up? Your stop would be right under here. So what are you risking? You're risking like 2 cents. You know what I mean? And at that point, since you basically just broke highs, yeah, you would probably have to go to the daily to get like a realistic target. Or you can do what I do. I scale on extensions. I sell into strength. So if this started getting like this, you know what I mean? Let's say your 8 EMA on the 1 minute is looking like this now. This is going to be kind of crappy. But like let's say it's like way down here. You're starting to extend away. I'll start chipping some off, right? And then as long as we see like some more healthy pullbacks, you know, I might even continue to add to the position, like scaling in and out around a core, keeping my average below the current price so that if something funky happens, I can get out and I still won. You know what I mean? Just kind of like milking that cow. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I can't, you know, everything's different, but as long as it's a nice low volume pullback, and you see that this level is holding, you can get in, you can risk that level, and it's good RR trade. But you have to keep in mind this is up quite a bit for the day, right? When you see something like, and this is, let's say it happened way down here, I'd be a lot more confident to add more size because we're not like a lot more extended. You know what I mean? 100 said, here's where my viewers went. Appreciate it. I appreciate it. You're averaging up but below the pivot. You're averaging up but below. I'm not really sure the context of. You're averaging up but below the pivot. What if you try to buy the dip and it just keeps dipping? Do you just keep averaging down? Fuck no. So if it depends on the setup, but so let's use this. This is such a this is such a good example. We're gonna use this for all kinds of stuff, but we're gonna have an imagination with this, right? We're gonna have an imagination. We're gonna pretend there's different shit's happening, right? Okay. So like I said, let's say you weren't taking a dump. Let's say you didn't miss the dip buy, right? Let's say you get in here. When I buy right here, okay, especially if there's a pattern like this or something, if you're talking in regards of like a flag break or something like that, if it breaks down on the flag, I fucking cut it. I don't add down. Like I said earlier, I just cut it. On something like this where you have a legitimate setup, there's a couple things. I know where I'm gonna start adding, right? I know where I'm gonna keep adding, where I'm gonna stop out, right? So where you're gonna scale in, where you're gonna keep scaling in, where you're gonna stop out, type shit. So obviously I wanted a higher low. This was ideal. If this would have kept coming down on low volume, I still would have considered it bullish because on the 5-minute, right, that, let's say all this action didn't happen, that still would have been a higher low, right? So I know I'll start scaling here because that might be all we get, but I'll keep scaling into trend, which would put my average where? That would put my average here, about right here. So the risk is still very tight. Well, where am I going to stop scaling in at? I'm going to stop scaling in near this trend line, you know? I'm not going to fucking watch this break and be like, damn, maybe I should keep buying. Like, no, because that's not the plan, right? The plan was I'm going to start scaling in here. Stop scaling in a trend line. I'll grab some more trend, but I want to see it hold. And then I'll, I want to have my stop a little bit below. Sometimes you'll see a peak below, right? You don't want to get faked out. But you have to keep an eye on that level too because you don't want it to start coming below and then see like a huge bid just getting chomped and then get caught in a flush. You know what I mean? But that's the plan. Scale in, stops here, and then guess what? You're still risking only like, I don't know, what is that, 7 cents? For high a day push? Great risk to reward. But no, if I see something keep dipping and it's against the plan, I will not keep averaging in. You have to know where you're going to start scaling in, where you're going to stop, where you stop scaling in, and where your stop is. You know what I'm saying? If it's something like a flag, so like if I'm just playing a flag and it just, what is the plan there? The plan is you get the bull flag breakout higher. If that fails, I just stop. You see what I'm saying? What's up, 100? Sorry, man, I'm like deep in it. We getting some education out today. You know what I'm saying? We're giving people the fucking sauce right now. Also, when buying the dip, do you put out bids? This is a good question, guys. This is a really, really good question. You know why this is a good question? Because a lot of times you'll put out bids, especially on Thinkorswim. Thinkorswim is fucking notorious for it. Let's say you put out a bid right here at trendline, right? Do you think that you're the only person that thought that? Do you think you're the only person who was like, man, maybe I should put some bids right here? No. And there's people out there that are like, you know what? They're going to put their bids here, so I'm going to put it 2 cents higher. And then you'll never get fucking filled. Or if it does come down, there's going to be so many people trying to get filled on that bid that you might get like 2 shares, right? But the other thing is like, I don't really want to see a whole lot of people selling into the bid. You know what I mean? Because I don't want them to crack this bid and then it just comes all the way down. So I'm going to be 100% honest with you guys. I slapped that fucking ass. I slapped that shit. I do. I slapped that ass. If you're, on these type of plays, if you're playing a catcher's mitt play, which we'll go over in detail when we get a good one to actually look at, if you're trying to get it on a catcher's mitt play and people are selling into the bid, you can get filled on the bid, right? Because it's a lot easier. But I don't want people to be selling into the bid on this play, so I'm just slapping the ass. I don't want to A, miss the entry, and B, I don't want to get filled 2 fucking shares because there's just no shittier feeling. You know what I mean? So that's my answer to that, man. I slap the ass. A lot of times I'll even sell the bid. But if we have nice strength, like if we're moving up, like I said, nice strength, I sell and ask into the strength. You just milk that cow for those few pennies. It's totally worth it. This has the best sauce, you know what I mean? Yee, the sauce good. This is being recorded, right? It is being recorded. So if any of you have to take off, the sauce is here. It'll be here for like 2 weeks. You guys can come back. You can watch it. You know what I mean? Oh, is ESQ in here? What are those red green lines on your intro? This is it's a study. These are my orbs. These are my orbs. It basically puts your lowest and highest point in the first 30 minutes to market open. People call it an orb. I didn't know ESQ was in here. Hi ESQs. What is a good dip or a bad dip? Usually some stocks flush, the reclaims back up, or vice versa. A lot of this is going to depend on a stock's personality, man. You'll see on like Voyager, we had a lot of high volume dips that just recovered. But like I said, if you look left, you can kind of see that was the personality of the stock. Um, Lately, these haven't been playing out like we saw RNAS and I think RCAP play out where it actually did squeeze. We haven't been seeing a lot of that lately. This will probably hold out into tomorrow, get forgot about, and then fade back down to probably close to 3.10s, $3, right? So I left it alone. But if you are seeing a theme where you're getting remember I told you guys this. I told you guys this like 2 weeks ago. I was like, when people figure out that fucking theme, that's when the theme starts to change. You know what I mean? When the majority feels, and so a majority was like, oh dude, they're trapping shorts, right? And now we're just not getting those big breaks. They're just kind of moving sideways. But and something like that, you know, I might add a high volume dip like this. But typically, man, a very healthy dip is going to be something that is nice, low volume dip. You know what I mean? I don't know if this is a very good example. There's probably not going to be a whole lot of examples on this. This isn't a decent example. You can see this little 1 minute flag. You have a nice volume leg followed by a low volume pullback, and then it continues on, right? Guys, I use a volume 10 average. I don't use it as an indicator to buy. It's for me to subconsciously be able to look down real quick at my volume and be like, oh, that's a low volume dip, you know. But majority of my low volume dips is what I want to see. If you're playing a catcher's mitt play, those who know what that is, and we've already went over it, you actually want to see that big volume because that's like that ending volume of the move down. And ideally, you're seeing that come down into the level you have picked as far as where your entry is going to be. Everybody who doesn't know what the fuck I'm talking about when I say that, don't worry about it. We'll go over it when I get a good example. What if you try to buy a dip and we just went over that? Awesome, man. It was a slow day. Today was definitely a be picky and sit on your hands day. I feel like I was been really aggressive, especially last week, and you know, adding all kinds of sides to plays, and the market just wasn't ready. It kind of tricked me a little bit. So I've been more reluctant to do some things. Been taking the plays when they were there and just sitting on my hands after. You know what I mean? Definitely not giving back gains. I'm trying to get some Chick-fil-A this week. Uh, so for anyone that missed it, the new rule is if we don't get a 10K week, no Chick-fil-A, right? So it's tight. It's looking tight this week. I don't know. We're gonna have a crazy day tomorrow, which I have to leave midday tomorrow to go be in the hospital with my son. Um, so Friday, we're gonna have to make something happen on Friday, guys. Yeah, we're gonna have
Right,
that.
I got a question for you.
All right, hit me. Hold on, let me turn you down a little bit. Let me turn you down. Is Daz loud, guys? Let's turn him down just a hair. All right.
Sorry, I'll move over here. Is that better?
No, because I said I was gonna turn you down.
Oh,
All right, you should be good.
okay. All right. When you were starting out,
Uh-huh.
what were you doing to analyze your trades? Were you just micromanaging them, changing them a little bit by little, going back, taking pictures, writing them
Um,
down, setting notes on each one?
so in the very beginning, Daz, I was recording my screen with OBS, right? And so I would open up a notepad. I told you this at some point in time. I feel like we went over this, right? With
Yeah, we
people.
did. I'm kind of bringing
I
it
would
up to
I
them.
would record my screen, right? And I used a different way to record my P&L. We'll go over that too in a second. And so let's say had a mind blank, sorry. Let's say on any, you know what I mean? We took this short. Um, there was a period in time where I did this for watching level 2, and there was a period in time for watching the trades, right? I kind of did it with both. But I would type in the time that I made the trade. So if I made the trade at 12 p.m., any short against highs, you know, I would go in here and I would type in all my trades that I did for the day, and I would go back and I would watch these trades later on in the day. Get to watch the level 2, get to watch. I actually was like recording my face too, because I was a very anxious trader when I first started out, and I'd be like rocking back and forth and like biting my lip and shit. and it helped me become more consciously aware of how I was feeling when I was taking on big, especially when I was taking on big size. What's up, ESQ? What's up? I see you said hi. I'm like making my way down chat. But so I recorded my trades, right? I recorded my screen, I recorded my face, and I would type in all my trades here. And for a long time, I had my little P&L booklet, which it's somewhere over
I
there.
still got pictures of that.
Yeah, I had my little P&L booklet, and I would write every ticker I traded that day in there. And then like when November came around, that's when I like really started getting deep into like tracking what I traded, the float, and kind of like going over what the trade was, getting percentages of like, okay, I played this flag, it was a low volume, there was a catalyst, there was volume, had range, the play worked or not, right? And like kind of weaning out what wasn't working and collecting information on what was. A lot of people would ask me like, what's significant? What kind of information is significant? For me, it was like, does the stock have news? Right? Yes or no? Uh, was the float? I didn't even really put too often the float. It was the float under 30 million volume, right? Which some people can do 50. For me, it was 30. Was the stock under 30 million volume? Um, nowadays probably 50 would be better because we have enough volume in the market to move these bigger, these bigger floats a little easier. Was the float under 50 mil? Was the stock over VWAP? And stuff like that. And I start tracking all this shit, and I started learning that I didn't win a lot on the trades I was taking that were under VWAP. I didn't win a lot on the stocks that were over 50 mil float, right? I really didn't win a lot on the stocks that didn't have some kind of catalyst, and I really didn't win a lot. Does the stock have? So here's what's important, right? A lot of people are like, does the stock have volume? Well, that's you have to change it a little bit. It's does the stock have relative volume, right? That very important. We can talk about relative volume for a long time, but does the stock have relative volume, right? Which means is the volume higher than average, right? So does the stock have relative volume of at least 3, right? For me, it was 3. Anything over 3, it's pretty good. Like if we look at Voyager today, let me move this over. Relative volume was 972. So 3 is 3 is fair. BTBT had relative volume of 10 today. So these things, right? I would start tracking these kind of details and figuring out like what was working and what not. I don't do that anymore because I just look at it in a different light, and I kind of understand. It's weird, man. A lot of things click down the road. A lot of things still click for me to this day, but it's like learning the personality of a stock, knowing how things are moving, and correlating that with the psychology of all the other like aspects of the market, like the people, retail, big money, and stuff like that. It's all a lot easier. Plus, I just have my strategies I stick to now, so it's not really like I have to track too much. Now, like when I was starting to short a little more, I still didn't do this. I just found the setups that I saw working majority of the time and just stuck to them. But a lot of the stocks had the same criteria, and if I was tracking all this, a lot of these would line up to look very similar as far as the names that worked, if that makes any sense. So,
Yeah.
stock name, right? You'd have to have stock name in here, obviously. And I would have some pictures of the stock. I'd have the 1 minute, the 5 minute, the daily, right? Which now when I track my trades, I don't do the 5 minute. A lot of my trades short are made on trade zero, so I would have the 1 minute for trade zero, the 1 minute for thinkorswim because it's where I do all my charting, all my trend lines, and all my shit like that. And then I would have my daily. It's very important that you do all that, right? Like you want a nice picture of your daily chart because Daz, we went over this yesterday when I was showing you the pictures of all the short plays, where it's like all the dailies look so similar. They would just pop and drop, look left
Yeah.
situations. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I remember that.
But there's a lot of different ways you could track statistics. If you can make a nice spreadsheet, do that. Honestly, I just wrote everything down and like kind of just went through it, got my own averages, with a nice old calculator, because I'm not good in Excel. But what's your hotkey setup? What's the button? Do you have another one, Daz?
Yeah, this is just one that I've noticed from being in Discord a few days. This isn't really for me. It just seems to be something that I notice people do that's like a bad habit.
Hmm.
And it's thinking of what could have been versus what you should aim for as in an actual plan, and thinking, man, if I would have held on to that stock, it went to there. That seems like a really bad mental
It's a
habit to
very
have.
shit mental habit to have. It's very. I mean, it's very easy to do though. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like it's very easy.
absolutely. Especially with the what was
Yeah.
that
You know
today?
what? You know
What
what a
was
good
that one?
example is today is NXTD for me. NXTD is a very good example. I had 30 fucking four. I had 34 cents on this, right? And I didn't have too much. I think I had like 10,000 shares or something, right? But it's like I cut right before, and I was like, damn, I could have made 1,500 bucks, all right? But then you have to think, like, would I have held for this entire move? Probably fucking not. Like, it's like, man,
Exactly.
I could have made 1,500 bucks. You're assuming that you would have basically sold the top, which a lot of times ain't gonna happen. Um, Even if somebody sold here, especially new people, I know there's a lot of you new motherfuckers out here that would have got 34 to 41 and sold and be like, damn, it went to 45. Fuck that shit, dude. You got the meat. You got some meat of the move. That's what's important, right? But there's a couple things that we used to talk about, and it's like the words coulda, the words shoulda, and the words woulda. Stay away from using those words. You have to use more positive words, like next time I will. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
when you start thinking having that like mindset, that's when you start looking back at like, okay, what could I have did differently? Because it's like if I want to do this next time, well, if you want to do it next time, you have to have a plan around it. Like, okay, if I want to do this next time, then let me look back. What could I have done so that when I see this trade next time, I can act a little differently. You know what I mean? Because if you're like, man, I could have did this or I should have did this, like, yeah, you're kind of like putting a plan together, but it's a little more toxic. Coulda, shoulda, wouldas, you need to stay away from. All right?
Yep. That's just something I brought up that I noticed
Yeah.
is like it seems to be a trend between
Very,
people.
very bad. It's for a lot of people too. It's they're not very good at being honest with themselves. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
like people will take a loss and they'll be like, man, the market fucking sucks. You know what I mean? But dude, the market ain't been the best for like the last 2 months, and we're still making money. You know, you can still make money. You just have to adjust. And a lot of that, I mean, even in a shit market, if you're taking a great entry, you're probably gonna be okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Real quick, we'll run through some of these. We went through that. I feel like I was scrolling down. Somebody asked a question. Is slapping the ass or selling the bid the same thing as market buying and selling? No, it is not. There is a difference. There is a difference. If you there's a lot of videos and you can even find it on Google. It gives you a really quick explanation. But it is different. Bought many more because the volume is scalped 3 times. Guys, if I skim through your questions, I love you. I promise you, I know there's some I'm missing. I'm not trying to miss them. I wanna, answer some good questions I can like really dig into. What's your percentage position scale in 50, 25, 25%? What's your percentage position scale in? I don't really position like percent scale in, but I do percent scale out. You know what I mean? Every trade is different depending on the range it has, the price, stuff like that. What the risk is, you are hands down one of the favorite teachers and educational providers. I appreciate that more than you know, and I'm glad you guys are learning, and I'm glad you guys are having fun doing it. I know I joke around a lot in voice, but guys, I mean, I try to have fun. I don't want to be sitting here fucking bored all damn day. You know what I mean? But I know what I'm talking about. I may not be making the furu dollars yet, but I'm doing this legit. Like I'm not. You don't see me pumping fucking any stocks. I don't judge the hustle, but I promise you one day. I mean, you're looking at an underdog who's definitely gonna be up there, making six-figure days pretty soon. Your hand is most inspirational. I'm glad that I can inspire you guys, man, for real. This is good shit, man. Thank you for doing this. You are welcome. You're most welcome. So make 10K to spend to my. This is his first trade. Yeah, no shit. Actually, my first trade was a winner, man. Like a big winner too, and they, I ended up giving it back like everybody mostly does, but it was like, it was a big lesson. I took it the right way. How long do you gauge stocks before running it, or more of an instant thing acquired over time? How long do you gauge stocks before running it? I'm gonna be honest. I don't understand I don't really feel like I'm not understanding the question correctly. How long do you gauge stocks before running it? More of an instinct thing. There's a lot of instincts in trading. That's what I'll say about that. What are your green and red price lines? We went over that. Scroll down some more. Accountability is the only way to improve. It's not the only way to improve, but it's so important. Daz, do you have any more questions? Do you mark the opening high lows? It's a script. I've shared it before. I'm sure some people have it.
What would be like one of your favorite indications that it's going bullish to bearish? know you got them.
I think you see a lot of people, right, when they trade on like Dash Trader, like all they have is VWAP. You know what I mean? Um, I don't want to. Man, this is a tough one. I don't want to say like VWAP is like what I'm looking at, and if it's below VWAP, it's not bullish. But that's pretty much what VWAP is for, right? But even above VWAP, like if I see something that just rips all the way fucking up, and then has a really really sick flush down, right? And then it kind of bounces and continues down. Like at this point, I'm bullish, right? At this point, I'm bullish. There's a lot of micro, especially on intraday. Like um, looking at something on a bigger time frame like the daily. The answer is a lot different. You know what I mean? Like if I look at any on the daily, I'd say that this is a pretty bullish chart. We've been trending up, dip, we trend up again, we consolidate, we make a push, we're consolidating, maybe make another push. You know what I mean? Now, if I'm looking at like CNET, right, my lotto that I took tonight, not a very bullish chart. It's been coming down for a while. On the intraday, though, you look at it, and it's just like it's just sitting there. You know what I mean? But as far as the daily, not a very bullish chart. But on the intraday, you're gonna have a lot of just like micro changes in bullishness and whatnot. It just kind of depends on what's going on. You know what I mean? If something is showing strength, it's holding up over VWAP. You're getting low volume pullbacks with volume on the pushes up. Pretty bullish. You know what I mean? Even at this point in time, this was pretty bullish. This was a pretty spec short. I was just thinking, Bitcoin's not moving. There's a lot of people in this. They're probably getting impatient. I could see BTBT was starting to pull back at the time, even though it was still bullish. And then we got our nice bearish micro right here, right? So I don't know if that answers your question at all, but
No, it does.
we can definitely go into that
Yep.
some more. I see some people saying thank you, man. I really appreciate the love, guys. For those, I see some people saying they had to head out. It's all good, man. I do this for y'all, so you know what I mean. If you gotta leave, that's fine. We got people that are still here, people that still have questions. I get it. I'm trying to get to them all. I'm trying to run through them. It's hard to answer all the questions the way I want to answer them, and get to everybody, right? Which is why we're starting to do this every week. You know what I mean? Because I know that there's so many of you that have so many questions. If I skim over your question, please do not be offended. There are some questions that you can just Google. There are some questions you could just YouTube. And there are going to be a lot of questions that I might be like in the future, like, hey, we had a stream on that. You can go watch it. But I know that Twitch doesn't save all these streams. So, there's a dilemma there because I might be
Might
like,
have to
hey,
work
go
on
watch that stream, and then
downloading.
the stream's not there anymore. So we might make a YouTube, guys. I don't know. We might make a YouTube, just at least for now, to keep these up for people to look back on, because there's a lot of good information here. I'll tell you what, I wish I had somebody to be there for me in the beginning like this. I had some people, but man, in the beginning I was really me being really fucking nosy. Thanks for your time. Any thoughts on Chinese stocks? I love them. What do you recommend to someone who's been stuck just above PDT for a while but can't break away for enough to fully day trade? For me, when I was stuck just above PDT, it was all mental. It was like so much of me thinking about not falling under PDT, and that became like a main focus, and it was hindering my ability to do what I needed to do. So try not to think
My
about
turn,
it, man.
baby.
Size down a little bit. Yeah. I hope your son's well. I appreciate that a lot. We're getting there, man. My son's like kind of depressed and stuff right now, but he's alive. That's what EMA to use for the 1 minute, the 5 minute. Guys, on the 1 minute, the 5 minute, I use 8 EMA, 20 EMA, and the 50 and the 200. I don't hold the 50 and 200, like I don't hold too much weight to them, but I love the 8 and I love the 20, and I do get nice scalps off of setups around them. They're not like an indication to buy, but there's a lot of times you get a nice flag set up to the 8 or a nice pullback to the 8 on the 1 or the 5 that you can play along. You'll see a lot of people, a lot of momentum traders go around this. The first 1, 2, 1 minute pullbacks are good, and then after that usually you start extending a little more like this, and you want to see a nice 5 minute pullback, right? But the 8, the 20, those are my favorites. Where can we? And on the daily, guys, I wanna point this out, right? On the daily, we have the 200 SMA and the 50 SMA added, right? Also on the daily, actually, wow, yeah, I need to change this. On the daily, you want your volume average to be 50. There. Pro tips. Pro tips. I haven't heard any voice chatter on Discord the past 2 days. I don't think I'm muted though. You might have to go. So sometimes when you have like a Windows update, it'll change your like your default hearing device. You might have to go in there. You might have to change that. We've definitely been on. We've definitely been in voice. I've been fucking around a whole lot. Are you on YouTube? We're working on it. If you do get a top trend line wedge break with follow through and volume, do you wait for a pullback or do you grab it on the run? Steven, in the very beginning of the stream, I went over this for like a good amount of time. I will wait for the pullback. If I bought the dip, I might average into the breakout. Like if I had this dip, but I will wait for a pullback. We talked about it. You playing Val tonight? Shit. Is that even a question? I wish I could play New World with Daz, but it's been bricking GPUs. Dude, whoever posted on my Twitter, by the way, fucking thank you. You know how mad I'd be? I paid like way too much money for my 3090. I paid like 2.7K for it brand new. So if I was to if I was to play this game,
much as I paid for my MR2 back
dude,
in the day.
right? If I was to play this game and it fried my CPU, or excuse me, my GPU, not only do I not know when I'm gonna get another one, so I wouldn't be able to trade, and I lose the money there too. But it's like, dude, I would be so fucking mad. So we're not playing New World. We're still on Valorant for the time being. It's that time, guys. 4:26. We got 4 minutes. Daz, you got any more questions? Somebody's got some questions.
Yeah, I just got one more. Hold on, let me find it. What about Gargalon's turning point? What do you think of that?
What? What would you say?
Gargalon's turning point. It's a indicator.
Bro, delete that shit. Gargalon's turn. What the fuck is Gargalon's turn? Bro, get.
Gargalon D's nuts. All right, I'm out of here. I'll catch you later. This bitch, dude. Guys, that was good though. That was good. Was that? Somebody clip it. Somebody clip it. That was fucking good. Gargalon's turning. Okay. This is being recorded. Yep. All right. I got 3 minutes, man. If any of you have any questions, or if your question was in here and I missed it, ask it now. We got 3 minutes. I'm gonna try and tackle it. I see some of you dipping out because we are about to close it out. I love you guys. Thank you for showing up to the stream. I hope you learned something. We will be here next week, same time, every week. We're thinking about the YouTube channel thing because I want the content to be saved. I don't want to burn myself out though. You know what I mean? I do take a lot of time away from my family to help you guys, and I do it for free. So you know it's easy for them to look at it as like a slap in the face to them. But I just want to change some lives and I want to help people out. You know, does it smell like up dog in here? Got him. What do you do in your spare time when you're not shorting Des plays? Praise for your son. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. We need him. We need him. Give me all of them. Thanks for the positive attitude. Had probably my worst day today, but nice to see some banter and good vibes. Man, it happens. You know what I mean? Just man, I hope you're still in it. You know, just gotta keep pushing. Figure out what you did wrong. Be honest with yourself. Go back and be honest with yourself. Don't bullshit yourself. Okay? You want pizza? Yeah. Shit, pizza. That sounds good. You say hi? No. Okay, well go get on here. There's like 200 people looking at you.
Hello?
Hall? Thanks, Steve.
Can I get everyone in chat to just say I love you to Thiz real quick? Thank you.
This is that character you use. Thiz is on the news. Been watching, learning for 8 months now. How would you recommend getting my feet wet? Very slowly, man. Take your time with it. The market's not going anywhere. Make sure you're not. Hey, I love you guys too, man. For real. I honestly like. I don't know where I would be at, man, if I wasn't right here with y'all. Like this whole everything we got going and real ones and voice chat. Like this all gives me a sense of purpose And then this shitty stuff that we're going through in real life, it really does make me happy to be here with you guys, man. I love the shit out of y'all. I appreciate everything you guys do for me. A lot of you message me, like telling me all these crazy stories and giving me thanks. I read those messages. I don't know if you guys think I'm just like walking around like my dick touched the floor or something, but I'm not. I promise I'm not. Like, dude, I'm just like some fucking guy here with my family. I watch anime, I play games. Like, I'm down to earth. I love all your messages, man. And I mean, on that note, dude, we'll close out. I ended the day today. I don't have my account shit hit right here. 1,500 bucks. I'll take it. I gotta add it all up. I don't know if we'll get Chick-fil-A this week, but we'll try. We'll do our best. I gotta leave early tomorrow, so. On that note, guys, I'm closing out the stream. I love you guys. I hope you learned something. The video will be saved. Feel free to go back on it. I know that there's a lot of in-betweens, but on the points where we did touch on very heavily, really good to go back and watch that material, okay? So, I love you guys. Take care of yourself, man. You know what I'm saying? Be safe. There's crazy shit going on out in the world. And, just take care of yourselves, alright? Peace.